Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Tactical Productions. Today I bankrupt once again by Jake, Austin, like always, Fluff.
What's going on, y'all?
Hello.
What's up, beautiful people?
In today's matchup is our finals. It is Austin versus Fluff. My brain is really bad on names today. Austin is playing Cooler, and Fluff is playing the Wish Zamasu deck. There's buttons down below. Feel free to click them. They're there for a reason. Why can't I talk? Am I having a stroke? I don't think so. Let's just get into today's matchup. Holy shit.
I love how just the Austin's playing Cooler is just like a meme. Because always play Cooler whenever it's out.
Whether this deck was going to be good or not, as soon as you saw another Cooler leader, you're like, I want it.
Because the second it was announced, I just started buying green staples. I was like, I need to play green now.
And the ultimate deck probably helped a lot with that too.
Yeah, because I was telling Jake, I was like, I originally ran 3 charismatics. I only own 3. And I was like, wait, I bought 2 cell decks. I have 7 charismatics now.
That is so weird to think about now.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing, honestly, for the game in general. Like, I mean, it's such a basic effect. I don't think there's any reason it needs to be like locked behind a paywall.
And it didn't hurt the regular SR price either for workman prices. It's still like $10-15 I saw.
Really?
Yeah,
that might.
Well, that's because they're not the silver, like the ones in the start deck are considered silver foiling, I think. But quick question about this matchup. I know Fluff typically relies on Robotic Riposte as a way of kind of slowing his opponent down, but knowing he's playing against a Unison deck, I do recall you saying you sideboarded like 10 cards, because we do best of 1 sideboards.
Yep, I sided out of 10 cards. And I actually did kind of a piss poor job of siding out because I missed 2 Robotic Ripostes that should have been in the sideboard, and I should have kept 2 of the Turles in the deck. But basically, my whole thought is I wanted to stun the Unison plays that mattered. So I sided in Tyrannical Blows, I sided in Release from Evil, I sided in, what was the other one? I sided in Deborah, because I knew that there was a slight amount of hand control variance here.
Uh-huh.
So I sided into all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't focus hand control on my list at all. It's mostly just, hey, these cards are good, and they happen to have hand control. Like, it just, like the Frieza Unison, the Cooler 4-drop, the Zamasu, and the Whis. It's all just for consistency, but it just happens to also help with that. And against Yellow, I don't even try to hand control, because Yellow just draws like insane.
Yeah, especially this Wish deck. Like, after burning through 7 balls once and then getting to put them back and ostensibly do it again, like, that's just a lot of card draw. Like, you're going to see a good chunk of your deck.
Yeah, so I was not even trying to be worried about hand control. I just thought I'd try and make my attacks count, which helps with this 1-drop Cooler, since he becomes a 15k once you put a Unison in the drop area. And that's what I wanted to do. And he rested it, but we went ahead and played this good old boy here. And the Demigra, I have hated on for a while. I still don't think it's great, because if you see it past turn 1, it's just useless. But at least in this deck, it becomes 5k combo because they activate a battle on the leader's front. So you can either use it as an energy, you can discard it, or you can combo with this, so it becomes less of a dead card.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember when I first saw Cooler being announced, I did not think much of it, because I was like, oh, it's Unison's ew. Like, it's all it does. But the amount of aggression this deck can put out is absurd.
Yeah, I was really surprised by just how many attacks it can push out on like turn 2 or 3 without even playing their big bomb.
Because on the front side of the leader, you can take a life and draw a card, or take a life and play a 1-drop Unison. And so usually what I do is I take the life to draw a card, then I'll tap 1 to play Unison, and then I'll tap the other one to play another Unison, and then I'll try to awaken turn 2 so I can get a lot of draws in if I have them down that low. But as the shop knows, yellow as a color triggers me, and I'm just awful against. So I decided to play insanely reserve this match. I was like, I'm not taking extra life. I'm not going to try to go down fast. I need to be this to be as slow as possible for me.
That's interesting. Against a color that, because yellow is good at control, but not really like super, like super inevitable late games like a lot of blue decks have with turning the tide.
Yeah.
So your thought process was just like, I'm going to slow the game down in general and see if I can go the distance.
Yeah, because I know I can have really good board control. This deck has really good board control. I have the Nizes to stop, big boys from swinging a lot of times. We have Dormant. So I can drag a game out. So I just need to be smart with my resources and think like, hey, slow down. Just try to grind this out and see if you can make it. And because God, I'm awful against yellow. I'm so bad against yellow.
This is a really difficult match for Zamos in particular to traverse. Jake pretty much hit the nail on the head when he said the yellow inevitability is not very high. Your inevitability in green is much more significant than mine is. The longer the game goes on, the more it kind of shifts into your favor. Just because your golden Frieza unisons put in so much absolute work that unless I have a response for them in hand, I can easily get blown out by them.
Yeah. I love the Unison because it's nice to play as a counterattack on your turn. I mean, on your opponent's turn, and then on your turn, if you have another one, you have another 30k triple strike dual attack ready to go. So the fact that it can be played as a counterattack just means your opponent sometimes should expect to have to deal with 4 30k triple strike attacks.
Yep.
It puts a lot of pressure and starts playing in mental games with the opponent.
This match is particularly sticky as well because you basically, in green, you basically have to play towards option A or option B. And so my entire game plan is based around, okay, you probably have this card in hand. You probably don't have this card in hand. So I have to play path A instead of path B. And if I guess the wrong path, it sends me spiraling completely down the wrong path.
Mm-hmm. And I think one trap people fall into with Cooler, I know I did this and I adjusted it here. I didn't keep my 3 energy open for the Golden Frieza because I figured obviously Fluff would know that, hey, a Golden Frieza's in his hand with 3 energy open. He also saw me just pull a Golden Frieza. So there's no surprise element there. It's obvious what they're trying to do. So I just thought I would get a little more pressure on the board by playing a 1-drop Frieza Unison and then try to get those cools up to 15, which he rested the other one and stopped the other attack. So I got a super combo out of his hand, which is nice, but I just knew that I probably, with how you've been playing this, would not have a good opportunity to play the 3-drop Frieza defensively.
I mean, sometimes giving the opponent information like that can be kind of beneficial when it's such a powerful effect that you can just kind of hold over your opponent's head.
Yep. And that's really what the Golden Frieza ends up doing in this match overall, is anytime you pass with 3 open energy, I just have to know that you have that card. And when it hits the field, unless what I have on the field has indestructible or barrier, I'm going to lose it.
Yeah. And then, let's see. Yeah, the Knives here. I do it for I had an Knives in hand. I was like, okay, you know what? We'll at least stop it. We'll draw the card from putting the units in the drop area. And then at least we'll stop one attack from going. That Knives is so good.
Yeah, really underrated piece of that archetype.
Because if you play it in your opponent's turn, if it's like multiple attacks, like dual attack, triple attack, it stops that from going off, and then it halts it they have next turn too. So it essentially gives you 2 turns of just stopping a card. It reminds me a lot of Mafuba in a way.
Yeah, and for 1 energy.
Yeah. It's not as powerful as Mafuba because, Barrier stops it, but also Mafuba costs 2 energy. And I still love it to death.
Yeah, I don't mind that Goku Black getting locked down. I mean, the Goku Black's only at 15,000 body, but I like to have it to swing with, yes. But my goal is to not die here. Because you can play out the Golden Frieza. Looks like you've already awakened. So if you Golden Frieza, you won't have your counter at the ready. So I would be able to release from Evil at this point. But it looks like you're just going to kind of play out your turn, pressure, and then plan on passing again with multiple energy open, which is another, like we've said earlier, it's one of those huge statements like, please try me because I will punish you.
Yeah, it's really nice, honestly. It's because as playing the red cooler so much, I always had energy open and stuff, or I would at least try to get 1 red blue, used. So that line of play is very familiar to me as a player, and it felt really good being able to do that again with cooler. This one, it felt very familiar.
Yeah, and like we were talking about before, Fluff is now in the position where he has to present enough to make you want to actually like commit energy to the Frieza, and then still have enough to do on his turn that will allow him to actually do damage. And like you were talking about before, multiple copies of that Unison just result in even more attacks and pressure. So yeah, see, like he's reading it here to try and see exactly how he can commit to the board and try and get you to play it, if I'm not mistaken.
And also seeing what it will hit and what it won't hit.
Right.
Honestly,
so go ahead. I'm sequencing my turn with the thought that in my head, I'm kind of looking at your hand based on the number of cards that are left in your deck. Based on cards in your hand, I'm guesstimating you have a charismatic villain in hand. And one of 2 things happen here. I could tap 2 energy. You hit the Kai secret rare there, which was a really strong EDK. But you go ahead and counter with the Frieza. I have Indestructible on this, so I don't lose my battle card. But I have a Trio to Danger in hand. I could play the Trio to Danger, swing into your Unison, and negate its skills for the turn to the end of your next turn. So you wouldn't be able to crack it and pressure me like that. But if I do that and you charismatic, I lose that card. I'm tapped out and have to defend a dual attack triple strike.
Yeah.
Which I'm not confident in doing, so I have to play around as though you have charismatic villain in hand. So I don't commit to that line of play. Because if I do that and I fail, I just lose. And I'm also banking on the fact that you don't have the secret rare in your hand. So you swing, I release from Evil, and then you hit me with your secret rare.
The little counter.
And now I'm forced to have to combo out of this triple strike.
Which is really what I wanted. I wanted to get you down to at least 1 life, or at least make you dump your hand to have to protect from 2 triple strikes. Yep. So that's what, 40k, 45. I think I've combo up to 55 or 60. I just really commit to this 1 swing. It's a very important swing. And there you rest my secret rare, which did not feel good. I won't lie. And he rested my leader. And
I think, in all honesty, I probably should have just taken this damage and then negated the next attack with the open energy. Instead of burning the cards that I have.
I agree. I was surprised when you went ahead and, but then again, like you negated the first one, you should just taken it. Yeah, like you said, and then just taken and tried to negate the second one because I had used my secret already.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
And here you take a life for the blocker negate.
Yep. And the thing that really hurts is that puts me down to like 2 or 3 cards in hand.
Yeah, there's 3 right there.
So I just don't have a lot in hand to, one, pressure you. Well, and I don't think you've activated a dormant yet this match.
I have not.
So
no.
On a limited hand, I'm going to have to play through dormant. I've got to play through charismatics, and I have to play through the blocker on the Unison, plus the inevitable threat that you probably have another Unison somewhere.
Yeah, and that overall my love for this deck for that reason right there. The blocker negates are so prevalent that if they take the life to play the blocker negate, you then play that and then just strike it and they're forced to do something about it.
Yep.
So it just completely says screw you to the blocker negate, which I personally love. And there's the first dormant.
So yeah, I kind of got mind gamed there. And this match is pretty much downhill from this point. I don't have a ton of things that I'm able to do to recover. Like, I will be able to slightly fill my hand back up. But if you've got another Golden Frieza, like, I have to solve the secret rare unfilled, and I have to prepare myself for another Golden Frieza coming down the line, one way or the other. But the match is just kind of downhill from this moment. Like, I really have to just, like, the draws have to be perfect. What I decide to play has to be perfect. My responses to you have to be perfect because I'm still sitting on 3 cards in hand. I do have the option of, with this card, just draw 1, tap one of your cards, blocker, and then it can restand. And then it's indestructible. So I can get 2 blocks out of it every turn, plus a draw and an untapped 2. So I do have some things to play with, but it's not a great deal.
Yeah. And right here, we hand sanitize because he had peanut M&Ms. I have a deathly peanut allergy, so I was just double checking to make sure. It's not handle his drop area. And then this card, I love this card so much.
Yeah, that would probably Goku there as well.
Yeah, that hurt.
Yeah, now you've got the block.
He's got 3 blockers.
Right there. I didn't see your hand size.
Yeah, he has 2 cards though in hand, but he's got 3 blockers on board.
Did you draw from the Steadfast?
Oh no, I forgot to draw from Steadfast.
Oof. And then
I hadn't actually been playing with Steadfast a lot recently. I've been slotting it out of most of my decks, and I decided to just run it in this one. It had just completely slipped my mind because in my head at this point, I'm only going to be able to survive for another turn maximum, maybe, and then I'm dead.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I have the ability to clear his life out before he gets me, because he still has a fairly wide hand compared to mine.
Then here I Nize the double striker, so he's gonna attack me next turn.
Yeah, and then after this Nize, I knew there was almost no way that I was going to be able to establish enough pressure to take him down the rest of the 3 ways. So at this point, the writing is on the wall. And if we weren't on camera, I would have probably just gone on ahead and scooped. Because when you're in this situation, you just know.
Then I go ahead and drop another 3-drop for Golden Frieza. Just to try to get something out. Because I already had done the thing to the Zamasu, so I wasn't worried with the effect anymore, and it couldn't attack me, so I was happy with just going ahead and doing that. But that Release from Evil is so good against this deck. I knew people would start playing it once it's cooler. And, Drip Q started being played more.
Yeah, it's just a really solid tech piece for yellow in general. I think we talked about it a little bit before the set came out.
Yeah, we were looking at things to side in for it, and I've always thought Release from Evil was a very good card. A lot of people thought it was garbage. Some people in this shop played it here and there, but I've always thought it was a really good card because
I ran it in old Topo Lock back in like set 10 to set 12. I main deck like 2 copy in Topo.
I still remember the day you realized it could hit Unisons. That was an interesting night.
Yeah, me and Tanner.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
it's the only one of those that can't hit Unisons. The free.
I think so. Yeah, Wolfang doesn't.
No, unfortunately, which really is frustrating. I think they thought because it'd be too strong because it's a minus 15 on Wolfang. So if a Unison has 15 power, it would remove marker from it. So I think I thought it was too strong for that.
here I'm just doing what I can. Trying to clear his field out the best to my ability. I'm sitting on 1 card in hand, pretty much. And it's not a multicolor, I don't think. So I'm not going to be able to Aegis. I've got 1 blocker to my name. I think I have to respond to this and get the draw. And Austin's like, are you sure you're going to stand? And he was like, are you sure I can just recast it? And I was like, yeah, I have to. Because I can't combo out of both attacks. And then, like, for a moment, I thought about it, shuffled the deck, and I was like, no, I have to do it.
Yeah, going back
I
over
realized, real quick, I realized I had to do 2 because I only had 2 Unisons in the drop area. So that's why I tapped the extra energy.
Yeah, going over this video is very... I got to this part, I'm like, what is going on? I had to go back and listen to the audio to figure out what was happening. Yeah. And I think, if I recall correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, you regretted
putting that card back in, yeah. Because I drew a multicolor. I could have Aegis and got another blocker. The thing is that, like, I know the game is lost, and it's going to take a very specific draw off of this for me to pick up the game. I know that it's done at this point. There's just not a lot that I'm going to be able to do moving forward.
Yeah, when you did that, I was like, are you sure? Because it was such a close game, I just want to make sure you knew the card did, because you had to read some of my cards.
I think the cooler on play causes him to mill discard a card anyway, so it's kind of like his best play.
Yeah, I had to do it to at least get you to, waste the energy. But yeah, there's nothing else that I could have done. Like, the hand differential was too much. I outplayed myself in that one turn where I kind of put you on a card that you didn't have and put you off a card that you did have. Like, I just completely made the wrong play. You advantaged it, and you deserve that win.
So with that being, So with that being said, thank you all for tuning in today's matchup. Keep in mind, buttons down below and on screen while Fluff does the outro. That's my outro. I forgot it now. All right.
Austin, again, congratulations. You really did deserve to win that one. I mean that clearly. But as always, read your cards, know your plays. Let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to, and Fluff out.